Hey guys, so we're back with another video. This time we'll be talking about the World Championships in Eugene, Oregon. We're talking about day one as well as day two. So I'm going to be combining both of them together. So, as you know, day one kicked off very good. Um, we had Ominyada, you had Fred Curley running his first prelim in the men's 100 meters. So let's scale everything back. So the first event that we had at the upcoming World Championships and day one, we had the mix 4x4. Normally, those events tend to be at the last events of the championship, but due to schedule, they change a lot of things around, which is pretty cool. What I like about this upcoming, how they set up the events, it was pretty good. They managed to, like I said, managed to have the mixed 4x4 final as well as the semi-final and I think the final. They ran it mostly all in the same day, and then later on they actually had Allison Felix competing at the mixed 4x4 where it was her. They had Finca Bowl, they had Polino was running for the Dominican Republic. They also had so each person, when you run the mixed 4x4, it's two men and two women, and together that makes up the mixed 4x4 relay. So Allison, she did that event before. She did that at the Doha World Championship in 2019, which actually set a world record that year when she was running after 18 months having a child when she had a Cami. So it's pretty cool that she finished up her career with not only a performance, but it could have been executed much better. But I think due to the fact that Allison and the way every schedule is set up now, due to the fact that a lot of athletes that normally runs relays, they're focusing on their signature event. Like for example, Cindy McLaughlin, the Little Muhammad, the Thing Mo. We have some of the heavy hitters that normally runs like 400 or even their own events. They couldn't join the mixed 4x4, so they only had Allison. So after winning, Allison became the most decorated out of. She ended with a bronze medal. She got beaten by Polino of the Dominican Republic. Second place, I think it was Finkable. I think the Swedish team or Netherlands team that won. So it was pretty crazy how everything went down. Yeah, so I'm right. So Allison took bronze behind Dominican Republic and the Netherlands. So thus making the team and Candice Simpson got walked down. She basically got walked down at least 50 meters, and that's how the Americans end up getting third overall. So they became the bronze medalists, which sadly believe. But Allison, congratulations to her. She managed to win her last medal of her career, which is pretty cool. I'm very proud of that. Let's flash forward onto the men's 100 meters prelims. So the USA champion, silver medalist Fred Curley, he ran a 9.79, and this is the fastest prelim ever at the World Championships or Olympics. He led all the qualifying rounds, giving him number one and two and three times in the World Championship this year. Um, Fender Ominyada, he was the only man behind to beat Fred Curley this year. So the crazy part is that besides Fred Curley and besides all these other athletes coming in to like actually like beat some of the great athletes, it was very hard. And then on top of that, during he was the only Kenyan left on during the I guess Ominyada had like a delay, due to like situation with like visa and stuff like that. So he managed to, um, you know, get there on late, but still managed to qualify. He ran the third heat before 3 hours, so he managed to get at least in the heats, and he ran a time of 10 seconds to advance to the semifinals. And we also had the 19-year-old Leslie Tobigo from Botswana, who ran a time of 9.94. And Heat 5, you also had um, his own U20. So Leslie Tobigo from Botswana basically equals or lower his own U record 20 time earlier this same year. With a 996, he reduced it to 994. So that was pretty cool. So it was a lot happening. Meanwhile, we had the Olympic champion Marcel Jacob, who ran his first race since June 25th, but he didn't even look comfortable running it. Like that was even the harder part too. Like he advanced with a time of 10.4 seconds, trying to beat his season's best, but having a tough time factoring the final Saturday. So to even make it, you know. So that was that. So for the men's prelims as well as the mixed 4x4, that's what ended up happening. So when we talk going back to what the mixed 4x4, we also had Team B who ran team to get pushed for it. So we had the US basically ran both team that was in 2019 as well as 2021, and they managed to finish third in the mixed 4x4, like I said. And some of the biggest 400 stars did not run that race. That was also the complaint that a lot of comments that I was seeing, that a lot of people were kind of complaining about that, why they couldn't put other people besides, um, besides Allison that they had up there. They didn't have other athletes competing because some of the other athletes were able to, they're doing other events. And you don't want some of the athletes to get tired. Um, so when you looked at the pattern of who got who, so Goodwin basically started off the race and the 4x4. So let me break down how the 4x4 mix relay went down. So Elijah Godwin basically led off the race, and then splitting a time of 44.71 seconds. And then he ran the first leg, then give it to the stick to Allison Felix, who led a full second of the race. And in his first exchange, Felix split a time of 50.15 seconds, but would hand it off to the second off after the silver medalist Paulino, which Paulino ran a lot of the runners that they gave at the mixed relay are competitive athletes, such as Polino, who is the silver medalist last year at the Tokyo Games. She split a sensational time of 48:47 to bring the Dominican Republic team to the lead. Then we have Vermin Warwood responds with a even faster split of the night with a 44:40. The two Americans basically left, like, they were left in shock, you know so it's crazy to even see that. Then Candice Senson led the last of the she basically led the anchor. It was extremely hard for her too. She was explaining that, for the first 200 laps she was leading, but as she got to like the second half, uncomfortably she ran in 22:90, but got ran out. She basically got ran out and ended up by surpassing two of the other athletes. Like Fenka Bowl ran a 48:95. She basically closed the gap so fast that she managed to catch up to one of the two world leaders that was running at the 4x4 anchor. And Clofley Fordeliza ran 49:92. and the Dutch anchor. So Finkable 148, and at the end, the U.S. ended up giving that spot to, well, due to how it was, you know, due to how it was scheduled and how they set up the meeting. That's how she ended up not winning. Um, I wanted more to happen, but due to the fact that how it went down, I can't be too crazy mad. For Allison and her age, she's still able to get a bronze, still medaled. For every time she stepped on the track, she managed to like medal at some point. She never had a point where she never medaled at an Olympic championship or a USA or world championship. She always find a way to medal somehow. Okay, so moving on to the next thing. So after all that has went down, we have to talk about um mostly after all these legs and how they ran, you know, Wadelin Jarvis, all these other Michael Norman, Rai Benjamin, all these athletes ran some of their fast times at the hurdles and everything. We also have so when we think about a quick take of how what's a career for Allison, she has received a ton of attention over the years. Like I would say, she is like the darling. Like they say that she's like the darling of track and field. Um, she has done so much for the world of track and field. By creating her fresh brand, Sage, and due to the fact that Nike was her sponsor, and due to misunderstanding of how the contract works, she was able to create that brand for women by women. You guys can always check that out. Sage is a good company for athletes now, I would say. Especially like trying to give like maternity leave and all these opportunities to female athletes, especially if they're trying to like give birth or anything. This is the easier way to like have a better understanding. So this is the amount of things that she has done over years when it comes to but when it comes to versatility, longevity, I think Allison, she may not have all the crazy records under her name, but at the same time, she still managed to make a way where she can do what she has to and end her career from 2001 or 2002, from her U20 days all the way up to her senior pro days. She's been not only one of the best in the world, but always find a way to be top three of any event. So, congrats to Allison. This was a lot of things for day one, but it's amazing that this is what happened. Um, like I said, Marcel Jacobs basically there was a lot of things that was going on in the men's 100 prelims. Um, each person that I know that did good, like Fred Curley ran his 979 for the day one, and then Trayvon Bromell ran a 989, and then for the Heat 4, the indoor champ Marcel Jacobs he said he was battling an injury or hamstring injury. That's how he ended up running a 10.04, because you know he couldn't really, so that's why Lewis Johnson asked him like if he's not at 100%. So he's basically had to making a decision either should he run or not due to all those crazy things that's going on with him. Um, but yeah, then we also have, like I said, the first round of the men's. How would I say this? The first round of the men's were pretty crazy. The times are crazy too, and it's amazing to see things like that. Um, I'm just in shock to see even more of what went down. Mostly, we do have other events that went down during that day, but most people try to focus on, especially, is either the short sprints or the middle distance or even sometimes the 400 meters. um people tend to not focus too much on certain events that not only apply to them, but it depends. It depends. But other than that, um, I think most of the things covers um, how would I this? Most of the thing covers day one. Like I said, for day one discussion trend, the US um basically blew it for the 4x4 mix. Um it Evan Jagger should be they said should be disqualified. Fred Curley basically got a 979. Big disrespect for Marcel Jacobs. Like there was so many things that was going on at that race and that event. It was mayhem. It was mayhem. To see all that been going on, but like they always say, only time will tell on a lot of things. So let's look at some other. Let me check right now. Like I said, let me check everything for you guys so you guys can see. Yep. So like I said, mixed 4x4 was the opening day. Um, basically, Allison wins her 19th World Championships and making it a bronze, but got denied gold, which the Dominican Republic and the Netherlands win. Um, that's basically all the recap that we're getting. Then we started the women 20K race walk. Garcia Leo won Peru first world championship medal. So that's another thing I wanted to talk about. Let's talk about some other congratulations to other countries that has been doing it. So in the women's 20K kilometers race walk, you had Garcia Leon, which won Peru's first world championship medal. So that's a big congrats to her. Um, so that was amazing. Second place we got from Poland, who in the second place winner was from Poland, and in the third place bronze medalist was from China. So that was pretty good. And then we also go followed by the men race walk, which also the result was Japan clutch the men 1-2. So Japan went 1-2, and the men's race walk, um, which was pretty cool. And then I think bronze medalist, I think it's from Sweden. So it was pretty good, pretty good. Um, cannot complain there. And then I think that should cover day one. Whew, God. All right, so that should cover day one of the World Championships. Now let's talk about day two, because I think day two is when it start really getting like, how would I put this? Day two, I feel day two is more interesting from what went down. So I'm gonna pull up some of the results. And another thing, guys, I will be making like a whole probably 50 minutes at least, or 40 minutes video on Allison Felix, her journey from her high school days all the way up to her senior days and her retirement days. And then followed by, we will probably do that like in the after World Championships, or probably at the end of the year, probably, to talk about her accomplishment, what makes her above certain athletes, what makes her so successful when it comes to certain events and certain, criteria in the world of track and field, what sets her apart from other um, athletes. So we're definitely going to be talking about that after the whole world championship is over. If that's something that you guys would like, you guys could also leave like a question down below if you guys have any questions. So let me look at the results for day two, because like I said, I was planning on making a longer video, but I'm also gonna keep it brief. I don't want to rant on too much because I still want to cover a lot of things. Now let's talk about that's something I really want to talk about in day two, because I feel is the most heated events right now, because we haven't gotten to the 400 meters yet, nor the 200, nor the 200 women's or men. I don't know if we started touching the hurdles. I don't know if we started touching the hurdles yet. Um, Out of the 400, the 110, and then the 100 back-to-back hurdles. I don't know if they haven't done that yet. So I could check the results right now. I would have to check for day two. So just bear with me. Okay, guys. So let's talk about day two of the um World Championship. So let's talk about the first thing that we saw. Um, for the first for the first event, we had I think the women's 100 hurdles first round. We had former Oregon Duck um, Johnson, who clocked a time of 12:41 seconds to win the first heat of the day. We had the up to the second fastest time, Tiana Jones with a time of 12:57, and then lastly we had Keena Harrison, who basically won the time of 12:47, who won the other two heats. The rest of the other qualifiers to the semifinals, like Aaliyah Armstrong, Melissa Russell, Gabby Cunningham, Nell Ali, Marshall, Tior Marshall. So we have all these other athletes that for the first round of the women's hurdles, 100 hurdles, only top three advanced to the semifinals. Okay. Then we have the damn, it's chilly in my room. So let's also talk about the women's 100-meter, the semifinals that are coming in. So when we started the women's prelim, 100 meters prelim, this is what we saw. We saw, how would I put this? Thanos in human form. Shelly-Ann jogged a 10:87 so easily. Elaine Thompson did the same thing, but I think she had an 11:04, 11:05, and Sharika Jackson got an 11:15. Like the Jamaicans, I just gonna say this. Some of the Jamaicans are going one, two, and three, but also you have Mary Josée Talou. You have Dina Asher Smith, who ran a time of 10:85 or 10:84 in her round to advance to the semifinal. Like we have a lot of heavy hitters. We also had Aaliyah Hobbs, who basically she already said that this wasn't her perfect start. She kind of felt bad. Time of 10:81. Marcial just ran just behind it with a 10:82. Tamara Clark's move on to the final across the 10:88. So a lot of people are going in with a good time, but it's just like you have the Jamaicans like right there that it's gonna be very hard, like very hard. You also have like the women's steeplechase. Um, so it's crazy right now. It's crazy. All I know is normally we would say Elaine Thompson would have like a injury or something like that. She ran that 11 something very casually, which is very scary too. Um, and I was discussing that on the live with one of my followers that I watched his podcast, and he was explaining to me, and even when I check on some other people that I revered on their podcast, we were discussing about how Shelly Ann, her way that she ran from last year's Olympics and now. So I could think Monaco, or I forgot which which place where she like trained and where she competed when she ran that 10-6 compared to how she was doing it before, where remember back in what 2012 or the earlier days in some of the other Olympics that she went to, her neck used to be like up when she's running, like it's like it's curving to the side. She's not doing that anymore. She's running in a way where it's like, okay, 40 meters or 40 out of the 40 meters, she hold her face perfectly. And then as she gets to like the latter half of the meet, that's when she's like holding on her speed. And it's going to be very tough for anybody to pass Shelly Ann. Especially she's running like very casually right now. That's even scary within itself. You know, I would never expect that, you know, somebody's gonna be challenging her or somebody's like I would not even expect that. But the person that's closer to her right now, that's I'm not gonna say even give her a run for her money, but Elaine Thompson and Sharika Jackson, and you also have Dina Asher Smith in the mix now too. The way they're running, and then you also have Kambunji. Um, some of the times that they all came in for the women's prelim. So let me read out all the prelims times so you guys could hear. So on the first round women qualifiers, these are the times that we have. So we have Dina Asher Smith, like I said, who ran a time of 10:84 seconds. You have Shelly Ann Fraser. So the fastest person that had that time right now is Dina Asher Smith. That's another thing. Sometimes when you run too fast in your first round, remember at the World Championships you have 3 rounds in total, or it depends if you're the defending champion, you'll have probably less rounds to run. It depends. But but I know based on what I'm seeing right now, the Jamaicans are jogging. They're jogging the times that they're running like at practice. They haven't even put down their actual times out yet. Like I said, Dina Asher Smith with a time of 10:84 seconds. Shelly Ann Fraser Price, I'm looking for my phone. Shelly Ann Fraser Price ran a time of 10:87 seconds. Talu runs a 10:92. We have Tanisha Terry, which is a 9:95. Darlene Nida ran a 9:95, so they equal the same time seconds. We also have Maria Kambunji with a 9:97, a 10:97. We have Sharika Jackson with 11:02. Marcella Jefferson got 11:03. Aaliyah Hobbs got 11:04, and everybody else, mostly everybody else, is under 11. Especially where Elaine Thompson, 11:15. Like a lot of people are running half of the rounds. They're running slow. So if you look at the time, if you guys look at this, I don't know if you could see it, but if you look, that means out of everyone, it's only been 6 of them that has run close to the 10 barrier, which means everybody else haven't start pulling out their claws out yet. But Shelly Ann gave us 10-6 2 times before, and history has told us before Elaine is more of a Olympic type of ready athlete because she would need time to like be ready for Olympics. Whereas Shelly Ann, and nobody's touching her because after running that 10-6 and that other 10-6, of the same year, her her legs are still fresh because she didn't run certain events. So it's gonna be crazy to see how the semifinals, because the semifinals is when everybody's gonna start deciding to get serious soon, to start seeing what's gonna happen. Like my bet, this is what I believe. Based on how everything we saw from day two, from what I've seen, Shania might run at least just for the semifinal. I believe she might run a time of hmm, because last year at the Prefontaine, Elaine ran a 10:54, and somebody said it was like a repeat of the Olympics, and I could see why they were saying that. So my thought is, because this year there's a lot of technical things, like some minor things that she has fixed. So the fact that her first two, like what, Nairobi and Paris, she dropped the same times in both events, in both meets separately, and still managed to, excuse me, she still managed to find a way to run a 10.6 or a 10.64 or a 10.60. So after running that 10.60, she could finally considers herself as a more consistent 10.6 runner, because she didn't just do it once, she did it twice. So flash forwarding now, I believe the time between now and how she's gonna get out at the semifinals is gonna start changing. She's gonna start getting serious. We might see a 10.6 from her. If we're already seeing a 10.80, what, 7, and if she really decides to start putting pressure in her steps, I don't think nobody's gonna touch her. And she looks so nonchalant and casual. Elaine and what's her name looks the same way too, but Shelly has that more composed. Like she's not, like she knows this is the race that she has to win, and nobody's gonna take it from her. That's how she's thinking now. But on the other side, you also have Elaine Thompson, who haven't had like a world championship medal, but she had more success in the 100 meter 100 meters and 200 meters. She is the double Olympic champion. But when it comes to like world championships, I cannot give it to her. Sharika Jackson, I even predict that for the 200, it's gonna go down just like this. Either Ivy Stein is gonna get third or second, but nobody's touching first because that's reserved for Sharika Jackson. I think crazier to see how fast can each person could go if they have prep time, such as to have that perfect start. And if you have that perfect start, it's basically over for a lot of people because 3 or 4 meters ahead, you're gonna be done. You know, so that's that. And so for my prediction for the women's semifinal, who's gonna make it, who's not gonna make it, whoever that was running mostly fast or breathing hard, and you gotta see if you really find a way to survive the rounds. You know, so my belief is Shelley might get first. Second is between either Elaine or it could be him. Okay, so from what I'm seeing, it's gonna be down to all three of them, and it might be between Sharika Jackson because she also planned on doubling. She wanna do the 200 and the 100, and she's already proving that she could manage and could hang with everybody else. I remember a couple of months ago, she was mentioning that she couldn't, focus and run right now because she didn't feel comfortable asking or putting herself at the name that she's a sprinter. But now that she has run so many times and she is the bronze medalist at last year's games, she has more of that confidence because the people that she has beaten is the same people that she's versing right now at the World Championships. So, so I believe Sharika will win the 200, but on the flip side is Shelly-Ann is getting the 100. Now it might be when it comes to the time of how close it's gonna be, it might be so close that they will either share the same time. For an example, um, in the men's final that has happened after the semifinal, we saw probably one of the funnest and greatest race that I have seen. You know, seeing on the men's side, the opposite side, this is what literally happened. So you had our whoever you was rooting for. You had Fred Curley, you have Gracie, you had Bromel, you have Coleman, and then you had some of the Jamaicans as well. The way Fred Curley got out, he wasn't really pressed or wasn't even feeling it. He just did what he had to do, and his stride covered so many ground. So the fact that he won um, the gold medal, and then Gracie got third or second, and then yeah, and then Bromel got third, and I felt so proud because this is the first time, or probably first time, or few times that the U.S. sweeps an entire World Championships. They went 1, 2, 3, so that's the biggest thing for day two is that people that you would expect to be medaling, they did not medal, and the crazy part is people that you had less confidence on, they whooping people's butts. So World Championship is even crazier now than before, you know. But all I'm saying is like congratulations to our athletes for not only pushing themselves from not only last year but even this year. I always say that the replication of last year's Olympics, is that this World Championship is gonna make it even better. That's literally what I see. But yeah, Fred Curley did his thing. He not only won, but he won by a good margin, and he got like I think what 986. Brumel and Bracy got 998, 988. I mean, they shared the same time, and Fred ran in 986. So not only Marcel Jacob was in there to like stop due to the fact that he said he had injury. So a lot of things came out of point where we thought that he was going to be in the final, but he ended up not being there. So, but tough luck for the what Olympic champion from last year. By the time we have the next World Championships, it's either going to be Coleman coming back to redeem himself because he even said that he still know that he wasn't feeling mentally there because he came from what a band, substance and stuff like that, and started like running. Like his season started mid late, I would say. So even if now that he was trying to win, I don't know if he has a peak on time yet, but it is what it is, you know. But time will tell. Time will tell because we do have another World Championship cycle next year, so they will have time to make USA's and then travel. So a lot of athletes, like I said, is gonna need that to not only redeem themselves, but to find a way that how that's gonna be impactful to them. So day one and day two are in the history book. Congratulations. If I'm missing any other athlete or anything, I will probably cover it a little bit more into day two or day three of the championships in the morning. But definitely, guys, I am so happy. I can't wait for the women's semifinal and then final. Who's gonna win it? You guys can leave down below who you might think that might win the world championship on the women's side. Now that Fred Curley is now the fastest man at the world championship this year, and he's sitting on top of the world. I'm not sure if Fred is joining the what's that thing called? I'm not sure if he's doing the 200. That's another thing I want to talk about. Who do you think that might win the 200? Because a lot of people saying that it's gonna be Noah again because he's the defending champion. But then again, I sat back and asked myself, you're fast. You also have other athletes that never you would never expect them to be starting getting close to certain times. Like you have Arian Knighton, you have I don't know if Kenny Bernard is also running. You have a lot of people that's coming in that's not only gonna be fast, but they might outpace you based on how comfortable you are. Because the 200, once you get that first turn, it's mostly like you're cruising on the mid half of the backstretch. So if people can't catch you, that's a good thing. But if people could start rolling you back in, especially when you're trying to leave out the blocks, and then by the time you get to like the straightaway, you see you're getting basically pushed back, and as people start making up the gap differences on you, that's the worst part. That's the worst part, and to see that, it's we can I just can't wait to see what day three is gonna look like. Now that we've seen what day one and day two is gonna look like, who you think they might put even in the 4x1 and the 4x4? Because it's crazy. It's crazy. Um, but I know that either Arian Knighton might get third place. We have either I don't know who they might add up to make to run the 4x4. Because I know they had Norman, they had Rai Benjamin last at the Olympics, and I forgot who else too they had. My mind is so I forgot. But I remember how they ran the 4x4, and then they also the 4x1. I'm not sure. I think they either got disqualified or they won something. Or I don't think they put in themselves in that too much situation this year. I think that based on how the men's 100 went down, they already know who should lead off and who should anchor. Fred should be the one that's anchoring it. Bracy should be the third leg, and what's his name's gonna be third? Either Coleman or they're gonna add someone different. That's just how I see it. For the 4x4, we already know Rai Benjamin or what's his name, Michael Norman. They might have to join the 4x4. Another crazy news that I heard is that the Olympic champion, I think Gardner from the Bahamas, he either got sick or was not feeling well, so he did not. I don't think he's gonna be running. So but we do have the world record holder and the 400. So there's so many possibilities you could think of right now. But let's just not forget. I think Fred Curley might run in the 200, depending on if he's still able to like do all that while did all those sprints and everything. Okay, so let me know what you guys think. Are you guys more excited than I am for what's about to happen tomorrow? Like I said before, I my money is always on Shelly and Fraser, and then it's mostly Biosaka Promenade. So it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting to see how they're gonna put that together. But either this world record is gonna fall, but Wayne Vaniger is also a crazy athlete. Like a couple of weeks or months ago, he couldn't do certain events. Now it's like his body's remembering everything that has happened, and he's getting stronger about it. So definitely that. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Do you guys think that um, who's gonna win the 400? I put Michael Norman, and I don't know if he's doing the 200. I might put some money on that as well to see who's gonna win um, between those two athletes. And then you also have what's his name? I don't think I saw the silver medals or the bronze medals in the 200. It's so much. It's so much that's gonna happen tomorrow for day three. We might get the women's semifinals and finals at the same day. So a lot of things I'm planning to see how that's gonna be about. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. I'm probably gonna be ending this shorter than I thought, but that is the brief recap of what day one and day two is. I'm so proud of the men's US by basically winning a sweep, one, two, and three. I'm also proud of some of the mixed relays and how everything's been going. I also want to thank you guys for having me as a host. Um, it's quite amazing to cover things that you love because it's hard to find out sometimes to like really focus on the important things. But yeah, congratulations to the men's 100. Congratulations to some of the winners in the shot put. I will also discuss like certain athletes that won the shot puts and all these things because I think those matters too. We're not just gonna focus on sprint events. There's other events that are phenomenal as well in the world track and field. So yeah, let me know what you guys think and see you guys soon. The podcast will be up probably by tonight. So you guys get the time to see it by tomorrow if need be, so that way you guys could enjoy it more and see, is there any questions you guys could leave down below. I always answered everything, so it's easier to reach out to for me to, reply. So yeah, guys. Um, I'll see you guys soon. I can't wait. So this covers day one and day two, partially of the highlights that went down that was very important. And I'll see you guys in the next video. I'll see you guys soon. Bye bye. Like I said, I am your host, Sleepy Celestial, and I am signing out.